Civil war recently erupted on Twitter between conservative female influencers. I use conservative lightly, but it all started when one influencer named Sarah Stock announced her engagement on X. She posted a picture of her hand wearing her new diamond ring. Pearl Davis, an internet provocateur who's kind of built her brand on bashing women, she's like the female version of Andrew Tate, commented, "Hottest right-wing e-girl taken off the market. Parentheses, conservative women will always use their marriage and family to build their brand." All right, she's right that a picture like that was designed to get engagement, and it certainly did, but so is every post probably ever made. The internet is full of engagement bait, it's full of rage bait. It's the attention economy after all, and Davis has certainly indulged in that. The situation escalated on X when another MAGA influencer then criticized the girl's ring size, which looks to me to be about a 0.5 to 1 carat. Well, this sparked an entire debate online. Some were saying, whoa, it's not about the size, it's about the commitment and the marriage and the man you're choosing to marry. Some people don't want enormous rocks on their fingers. Some people think it looks gaudy. At some point, it looks like a ring pop. And others said, it's unclassy to comment on the size of a diamond publicly, which I very much agree with. Keep that opinion to yourself. Others were saying, however, that the size of the gem is an indication of that man's investment in you as his future spouse, as his future wife. Historically, I believe engagement rings were kind of collateral for if the husband died, then the woman would have something valuable to cash in to support her family. But times have changed. That is not the case anymore. It's mostly a symbolic gesture of a man's intention to settle down with you and be your partner for life. But frankly, even more than that, this whole thing has gotten confused by the fact that everything is so expensive today. Everything. Commodities across the board, both basic and luxury. So lab-grown rings are really in right now, and I'm not making a value judgment on that, whether I'm pro or con, but if you see a very large ring on someone's finger today, it might very well be that that is a lab-grown diamond, which are dramatically cheaper. It's just supply and demand, right? If you flood the market with a lot of something, the price is going to come down. It's going to make them cheap. And diamonds, on the other hand, that are found in nature, that are made by God, they are fixed in supply. They are capped. That's partially because there's a monopoly that artificially fixes the supply, and that of course is a whole nother debate for another time, but they are rare by definition. So if you get a small natural diamond, it might be around like $10,000 if it's maybe 1 to 1.5 carats, but for $10,000 in a lab-grown ring, you can get a pretty hefty rock. So all of this is to say that the diamond conversation is a lot more complicated than it used to be. At the end of the day, the size of the diamond is not a barometer of how successful that marriage is going to be. Time will prove that out, right? There are plenty of couples who don't even have engagement rings at all. My parents didn't have one, and they were married for over 35 years. And that's what we should really be talking about. But there's a lot of MAGA grifters who have very strong opinions about the ring size when they themselves do not lead traditional lifestyles. So I give this girl credit for actually doing the thing and trying to get married. It's important that we have consistency on this from the spokespeople. Nobody really thinks it's credible if you are hypocritical. But also, we might be moving past the materialism of diamond rings in this era of, frankly, inflation, high cost of living, and all of that. And we might be getting closer to the spirit of what marriage is actually about. So the wife of Republican Congressman Byron Donalds, Erica Donalds, posted a picture of her original engagement ring from 2003. So they've been married for quite a while. And it's a very humble, small band and small rock. And she mentions from scripture this Bible quote, "Do not despise these small beginnings," from Zechariah 4:10. And then she notes that she got upgrades to that small ring at both the 10-year and the 20-year mark. And I think this is the biggest point. She's saying that her now husband bought the original ring on eBay. They didn't have a lot of money when they were just getting started out and laying the foundation for their lives. But as they built their lives together, as they progressed in their careers, they were able to get upgrades. And a lot of couples today, when they're thinking about getting engaged, they probably don't want to spend an arm and a leg on the ring, especially when they're going to be in a much more financially secure position, probably a decade from now, where they can upgrade the ring. They'd probably rather apply their savings and put that money toward a house or another asset that will actually appreciate more than a diamond ring, which doesn't appreciate that well from what I understand. And it's also going to help them build their lives together and provide for a family. As I was saying about some of the conservative discourse that is very pro the ring itself and the ring size, one woman writes, unpopular opinion, the ring does matter. It does not have to be uber expensive, but it is in fact a tangible and sacred traditional symbol of intention. It has traditionally embodied the measure of meaning he assigns to her presence in his future. If she truly means something to him, he'll go out of his way to choose something exceptionally beautiful because of what it represents. That said, she adds, I genuinely think Sarah's ring, which has been plastered all over my timeline these past few days against my will, is beautiful and likely chosen with care and thought. I think she's saying what I just said, is that it is a traditional, intentional symbol of a man's love for you. It doesn't have to be enormous. It just has to convey the gravity of what he's asking you to do, which is to marry him. It could even be a family heirloom, which is bequeathed from one generation to the new bride. It doesn't have to be this new, large, expensive thing bought in a store. But there's conservatives who will say that gender roles in the proposing actually do matter, and that the size of the ring is a show of how much that man treasures you and cherishes you. But there's plenty of room for disagreement on this subject. So what do you think? Does size matter in the engagement ring or not? So speaking of love and rings and marriage and children and having babies, the number one baby name in the United Kingdom in 2024 was Mohammed. I think that says a lot about the way the country is going, but we did a deep dive into those statistics. For more on that, click here.